In a time was the prophecy forewarned from pages torn by the candlelight underneath the guise of the scorn. From the morning she was born, she stayed true to her form. They watched her rise up to power as they knelt by the throne. The oracles predicted it and then carved into stone the scriptures of the greatest one who would ever be known. Her legacy was idolized, the hand became the prize until the night they took a life beneath the black skies. The cries became the tigers for the flow compromise. Her body emerged as a crescent when she met her demise. For every time they lied and each betrayer who tried, she would take it all in stride cause you could see it in her eyes. The plot thickened from the beginning, so it was told. The majestic and triple woman who would never grow old, wrapped in linens with gold trimmings and the attitude bold, with an empire of desire worth 10,000-fold. Envious enough to shed her blood in the cold. Her predecessors never got their chance to console the troubled soul they didn't know and never aware of the kingdom's plan to sacrifice her life with great care. Adhering to the prophecy precisely prepared, no one knew it could be stopped, but no one would dare. The cheers of triumph radiated throughout the lair. Her spirit shaped the atmosphere and her breath to the air. Clearly a travesty of a goddess so fair. The clairvoyant told that one day all her people would share. The temple lights would flicker and the lightning bolts would strike. The silent tension shattered all across the land that night. Like shards of glass she couldn't pass before she couldn't fight. Some say she knew but didn't escape for fear of who would sight. Yet she confessed the truth was in a letter she would write. Although dismayed she prayed the scrolls would one day see the light. The story couldn't remain until the weight was too great. How could she fight for her life when the kingdom was at stake? Young in age but wise in years, don't make that mistake. Her beauty shielded by her fear until the day it was too late. Every suspicion risen, any attempt she contemplate drove her to hesitate cause they already sealed her fate. And in the late of the night, by the light of the moon, with the blackest ink of papyrus, she had penned out her doom. Adjacent lake like pools of blood they'd all witness soon. The wind was still but still she felt a chill within the room. Just the thought of futuristic monuments and tombs created in her honor let her tale become true. She disappeared around the corridor but couldn't hide. Cautiously she hit the note unseen by all eyes. Someday it would resurface and the world would realize that her rule had been prestigious but a plan had been devised to strip her of her duties as the Empress of that time. The common scene was coming and her reign was to decline. Preparing for the ritual had long since been designed, and it made it even harder for her to keep her peace of mind. Sleepless nights, a will to fight but courage to comply. I knew she'd never ask it but she'd always wonder why. As servant and companion I had no place to cry. I joined her in the temple that night and then into the next life. It's my fulfilling duty and I simply couldn't deny. Still I felt upset knowing that she'd expect to die. We never spoke of the kismet but still this trust was present. For her it was deception, yet for me the best of blessings. Her strength and her acceptance extended like a lesson. Empress by definition, woman by impression. Left no doubts and no regrets, my peace at her discretion. She drifted off to sleep and there was nothing left to question. Years leading up to this, now the time had come. Facing fears, no tears, she would reluctantly succumb. Heart pounded like a drum because she knew it. She'd become a legend after her ascension to the gods of the sun. Suddenly the sky turned black, the moons aligned as one. By this time tomorrow her dominion will be done. Side by silence down the corridor we walked, made our way to the temple. Then she turned to me and paused. At first her eyes looked empty, her features without flaws. You don't accept the sacrifice, so you accept the cause. The words I heard the Empress say made me want to applause. As we reached the ceremony site I stopped at what I saw. Ivory candlesticks will lit the glow that they emit. The stones with ancient script depicted what I simply could predict. Descriptive verbiage of misses on this night. Her neck will sit, the rooms adore with golden gifts and lotuses were freshly picked. Altar with a knife of flint to take her life, yes this was it. Bit by bit submit to fit, this was the crime that they commit. One soul afflicted with the pain the other couldn't sense. The crowd looked on and how they longed to cheer at her expense. Suspense accumulated as the rite was to commence. Both suburban bloodshed she surrendered her defense. Incense burned my spirit, yearned to pray she went distressed. Alas we seen the rise and fall, the greatest one of all Empress. In a time